Hello, welcome back to NEPA Nerds. My name is Elle,
And this is Julia.
and we're talking about something cool today.
Something very cool.
Yeah,
Something that not a lot of people think that they experience, but in reality they do.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to Anime Day.
Anime.
Yes, yeah.
Anime.
Anime. yes. I somehow happen to pronounce it the old school way, anime. Anime, yeah, Japanese animation. And yes, anime is, I mean, it's, once again, a topic where we have to introduce it to our show because, being, only a few episodes in, might as well bring it in, going back to our history with it first and then, talking about our present state with it.
Exactly.
And looking forward to it. And, much like the Star Wars episodes, we're coming back to these things later on as well.
Yeah,
because there's just, once again, my theme tends to be, there's just so much.
Absolutely.
There's just so much to it. And really, Julia, it was your suggestion to go into Anime Day today.
Anime. I can't get over your pronunciation. But yeah, anime, it's everywhere once when you finally see it. Like big properties like Yu-Gi-Oh! The trading card game is it has an anime to tie in with it. Pokemon, if Kaiju number 8 guy, he's a newer guy, but Pokemon is also an anime. Dragon Ball, the biggest anime that you could think of. One Piece and Naruto, all these big properties, and it doesn't really kind of click into your head that these are all from Japan. Another one too is Hello Kitty. Big one of the past couple of years was Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia, like all these properties coming from Japan, and it's a very exciting time to be an anime fan, especially with all the new stuff that's coming out and all the older stuff that's kind of wrapping up recently. So
It's gonna be
yes.
So like, there's just so much, especially like ever since I was a kid. Yeah, anime's been a thing. It hasn't really, it didn't really hit American culture until like maybe mid-90s.
Yeah, about so. With the popularity of, I think, Dragon Ball, the initial series, not Dragon Ball Z, which is what a lot of Western audiences are more familiar with.
Exactly.
With, the greatest Saiyan of all time, Prince Vegeta, and all those characters being introduced. So.
Yes, and unfortunately, Zach couldn't make it today.
Yeah,
because he's not as much of an anime fan. I'm gonna get over this one. It's like, why are you pronouncing it like that? Yeah, no, it's all good. But like, we're more of the anime nuts, especially since let's go back to the very beginning. We're gonna talk more about it after the break too. But like in the very beginning, when I was but a kid in the Philippines, it was a thing. It was just the norm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because Philippines, they got anime, or at least they had more prominence before American audiences had it, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was just a given to us, and so I didn't really think much of it. And then when I moved to America, once again back in the '80s, dating myself. Back in the '80s, like the biggest thing, and once again we're going to talk about it too. To me, Robotech and Voltron, 80s classics.
Oh yeah.
And really that's what helped to bring a little bit more interest in anime, into the American culture. And even though it's almost like I brought it with me. So,
right.
Yeah. And it's
the great melting pot of America.
Oh yeah,
in action.
Yep.
And we get to see 2D characters fighting. That's the best.
Oh my word! That's the best thing, especially for a little boy. Like, ooh, look at that!
Yeah,
big old robots that you can drive around in, ride around in. Especially when you go into like lion robots.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. I mean, yes, true. Voltron was the vehicles at first, but but I'm all about the lion. Voltron as well.
Oh yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, I'm a big fan of that. So yes.
Absolutely.
What else do you think we'll be talking about today?
We will also be talking about shows that we've recently indulged ourselves in, and been allowing ourselves to. This show has been allowing ourselves to kind of force ourselves to kind of take in new stuff. And one of the newer shows that has been coming out is something that I'm hoping to talk about in the next couple of blocks. And it's a very exciting time again, because like there's just so much anime out there, and I think it kind of blew up. And yes, it was introduced in the '90s with shows like One Piece. One Piece, oddly enough, is like almost going to be 40 something now. It's like,
That's
oh
nuts.
my god,
And the strange
I'm
part
old.
is, and the strange part is, like, I didn't even notice it back then.
Oh yeah.
There was so much anime that I'm like, what? That that it wasn't until like maybe 2020-ish when I
Yeah.
heard about One Piece. I'm like, what's One Piece? Like, what is that? And so then I realized I was like, oh, it's really old. I didn't realize how old it was.
Yeah. Which recently, like I think I touched upon this last show, was that it's finally turning into a seasonal show rather than a weekly show, and crews are able to take breaks and be able to hone their artistic craft. Which One Piece, like seeing the before and after of like first season quote unquote, and the newer stuff that's coming out, it's quite remarkable to see the animation studio's evolution throughout the years, and that's something we're going to be talking about in the a couple of blocks, and maybe even a surprise visit from somebody. Who
Yes,
knows?
we will get expert opinion on something.
Expert opinion.
Our first ever interview. I just want to say, I don't want to date these episodes, but yes, it'll be our
Yeah.
first ever interview for this show.
Oh, absolutely.
So yes,
Very exciting.
Our surprise guest. So okay, and we will talk more in the next block. Hello, and welcome back.
Welcome back.
Today is Anime Day.
I have this smile on my face that just can't, like, it's like my muscles are like purposefully like
Yeah,
because I'm so excited to talk
Yeah,
about
really excited about it. Yeah, there's and my theme tends to be there's a lot to talk about.
Absolutely.
And you know what? We're gonna have to bring in a guest, a special guest for today.
Who's this special guest?
Our guest is my younger brother, Luke.
Oh, look at that.
Yes.
There he is.
How are you doing, Luke? Our expert for anime. Anime.
I appreciate the reach for expert. I like to say I'm well informed.
Yes,
So,
yes.
thank
The
you
well
for having
informed.
me.
Of
Yeah,
course.
great. I'm glad you could make it.
Yeah.
And no, you're not playing hooky from work. No, you're not. Yeah.
Now, during the break, I saw that you are wearing a hoodie. Is that JoJo that I saw on there?
A different kind of JoJo.
Different kind of JoJo's. It's actually where I
Oh.
work, but
Ah,
I
I
appreciate
see.
where your head's at.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like, she made the
Oh,
connection.
yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. So our well-informed guest. Well, interestingly enough, a little history with my younger brother. When I started watching anime as an art form, he was only 2 years old. And we were always trying to
Yeah.
because there's a tendency for anime tends to be a little bit more for mature audiences.
Of course.
And I would actually have to push him away from the room so that my sisters could watch the shows.
Yeah.
And I was like, and now he's watched way more than I have.
Oh, yeah.
And even though, yes, I'm all about the old school anime, but yes, if anything at all, Luke, he's the one who, let's just say, can talk a little bit more about this stuff than I can these days. Because being a busy adult, there's a tendency, especially with wife and kids, I don't have as much time to devote to watching as often.
And as I mentioned previously, like before this block, it was that there's just so much that's coming out anymore. Whether it be like adaptations of newer manga like Dandadan, which by the way, love Okarun. He's so funny.
Huge favorite of mine, yes.
Yes.
Nice.
And there's even like older anime that's wrapping up, like My Hero Academia. Elle mentioned that you're a fan of that franchise.
I'm
And
actually a new fan to it. I know it just
oh,
finished, and
really?
that's the reason why I started watching it. I appreciate it's really it's probably the best adaptation of hero, like
Oh,
literal hero work and cor- incorporating corporate life of hero work, and it was really cool to know. I didn't really know much about it. I have so much anime in my backlog, and I'm only watching a handful at a time. It's just so much to go through, and MHA is one of the ones that I'm working through, and it caught my heart early on. So yes, I'm working through it. I love it so far.
oh, God.
Nice, excellent. So before we talk about what you're presently watching, can you tell us a little bit about your history on when it comes to watching anime?
Oh man, I've just like you said, El. I started at a ripe young age. If it wasn't for you and one of our cousins from Chicago, I don't think I would have been as much into anime as I am now. My first ever anime I ever watched was Trigun. Um, Vash the Stampede
Okay.
became a instant favorite, an instant main character energy for me, and actually, not gonna lie, aside from my Christian upbringing, his morality and background is a lot of what I shaped myself as I was growing up, um, in the early '90s. And after watching it all, it kind of it kind of gave me my do good no matter what kind of impact that he had on my life. So that's why anime has such a huge influence on me. Is like I took a character like Vash the Stampede and I made him my entire personality for a long
Wow.
time. And I think that really also molded who I am as a person, morally, how to treat others, how to treat situations, even ones that are extremely difficult for oneself to experience. All the trauma that you might go through is dealt with a smile, and learning how to really just take it all in and process it, and give it back in a positive feedback kind of way. And I thought that that was a really great way to live. And for it to come
Mm-hmm.
from a so-called cartoon, which a lot of people even till this day kind of look down on anime, as like I think that holds a lot of weight, and it really got me into what anime means to me and what anime could mean to a lot of different people trying to get into it, or even some veterans. So,
Yeah. Because anime is
Excellent.
not just a genre, it's a medium of storytelling.
oh yes,
And various different studios, at least that I could think of off the top of my head, Studio Bones, Gainax, Trigger, they all have their own ways of telling stories. And I think that while I personally have not watched Trigun yet, I think I'm more
you really should.
familiar with. I think I've only seen like a clip or two of a Trigon Stampede, which is a sequel from what I understand.
It's actually a remake, reboot of sorts. You
Oh.
actually get to see a lot more of Vash's and his brother's origin, because what a lot of people don't realize, again, because they tried really hard to westernize anime at this point. Um, they don't realize that they're not on Earth. Like, yeah, it took about half a season for them to realize, oh, this isn't Earth.
Oh.
But it
Okay.
was really big on the fact that, oh, this is actually a space western.
Mm.
So given where the planet's at and given where the origin is, it becomes very sci-fi. So like when they westernized
Interesting.
it, and when they first wrote it, it felt more like a western than it did a space opera. So
Oh
when they
wow.
redid it,
Yeah.
a western studio came and redid it. They wanted to show where they really came from, and I think even though it kind of took away from the spirituality of it, I really appreciate the more localization of this is actually intergalactic, and
Mm-hmm.
we want you to see that. So it was actually
For
really fun to really learn more of the lore and the universe through the reboot.
Oh, okay.
yeah, I did not because it's been years since I've seen Trigon, and I guess I didn't go that far into it, but like I did not realize that it would be considered a space western, and I'm
Hmm.
all about
Yeah.
space
Yeah,
westerns.
it totally can be. It just never left that planet. So in the
Okay.
Yeah.
original manga and the original anime, it never left that planet. So that's the probably the
Mm-hmm.
reason why no one really talked about it.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
So, well, Americans, we end up loving westerns very much if the
Yeah, I think
60s
that's
and
why it really
70s
hit.
are
Yeah.
any
Okay.
evidence of that. So
Yes. Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
but, yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
just want to focus on a little bit more. Like, what? Even though we can expand on it in the next block, what other anime that have you been watching recently that you would suggest to people?
Oh man,
I know there's
that
a
is
lot.
probably the most
Uh,
loaded question you can ask
Yes,
anyone
it
who's into
oh.
is.
anime.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Now,
Obviously,
And
Trigon.
also just once as an aside, real quick. Hey, Luke, thanks for the Christmas present of a Crunchyroll account. Appreciate
Oh
it.
no
yeah,
problem.
that's
I mean,
right.
we're talking about anime. That's probably the best thing I could do for you is to give you more anime to watch.
Exactly.
Um,
Hmm.
Exactly.
um,
Absolutely.
and speaking of Crunchyroll, right now I think there are a few, and I know we don't have a lot of time, but um, the first foremost I think I've talked about with you before, and I actually let you watch a little bit. It was Free Ren.
Oh yeah.
Free Ren Beyond Journey's End is probably one of the best in a lot of ways for now for modern watching and
Okay.
for a gateway to anime, so to speak, because
Okay.
it's really
Hmm.
relatable. Especially if you like fantasy, high fantasy to begin with, it's already going to draw you in with that universe or with that aesthetic. You know, elves, warriors, priests, you know, going on a hunting raid for 10 years to hunt down the demon lord with a party of friends and a party of heroes. It's got it. It's immediate. It's right there. It draws you in with that. But the subtle peak that won't spoil, the subtlety is dealing with very, very real life things. Um, and it gets real really fast and it gets emotional really fast just in the first episode. And it really hooks you with its
That's right.
characters
Yep. I
Yeah.
and it
remember
really
now. Yep.
hooks you with its plot points because we don't really look at anything in our daily life as anything really too special, but the way that Free Ren and Mappa, I don't think it's Mappa. No, I apologize. I forget which studio did Free Ren.
Mm.
The way the studio tells this story is through the eyes of an elf that lives for a very long time, if not near immortal, and but it still deals with very human events and human trauma that she is just experiencing for the first time because she never understood it. For living for years and years and years beyond human life, she never considered the frailty that is humanity, and we see that throughout the first season in a very meticulous detail through character relationships and the bonds that she gets just in the first few episodes. So probably one of the most heartfelt and also one of the most um, if I may say, just the most like BA like action scenes you can get from a high fantasy, high magical world. So you don't just get the slow and melancholy and methodical. You also get the fast paced or a farming action you can get from anime as well. So
Nice. Nice. Yes. Use the term the kids use these days.
Yes.
hey, when it makes sense, you go through it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's
So
true.
right.
Yeah.
And so, Elle mentioned previously, and I imagine you being his brother, that you would be raised in the same household. What, I it, as an American, like anime hasn't really seen much of a boom until like the 2010s.
Hmm.
And Elle mentioned that it kind of rose to prominence in the 90s, at least
Hmm.
for the Philippines. Um, could you kind of tell us like what the experience was like coming from the Philippines and
Oh,
uh,
my bad. No, no, no.
uh,
Actually, that was my personal experience.
oh, you're
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
okay.
Because Luke was born here.
I'm
Oh,
first
okay.
generation
All
Filipino,
right.
so yes,
Yep,
I
yep. He's first
Yes.
already.
Okay. My
But I can
apologies.
attest. I can kind of answer that question if you'd like me
Okay.
to. Still, just from
Yeah.
more like a first generation Filipino growing up in America as an anime was starting to really hit it. Because I will say, I can also attest that the '90s was kind of that sleeper decade for anime as well. Late '80s into the '90s, we're talking things like Akira, and then like Voltron, Robotech. Even the reboot of Voltron as well that got that Netflix thing. Same with Neon Genesis Evangelion. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they were sleepers in the sense that uh, it was kind of a turning point, especially Akira. It was a turning point for anime in the West. It wasn't kids' TV at all, if you know it. Obviously, very not
Yep.
much kids at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very adult sci-fi.
Yeah.
It brought this hand-drawn intense density and motion and destruction scale that Western animation just never touched, and it wasn't even doing it yet. But the adult themes, still hit.
Mhm.
The government's fear of the youth. That was one of the biggest themes of it. The power without emotional maturity, post-war anxiety identity. These are very adult themes that when they brought Akira over to the West, um, they even worked without localization, uh, just to have it hit as hard as it can from its original work. It was not localized. It was just rewritten and translated. So huge influence on cyberpunk aesthetics, huge influence on Western sci-fi films and games, even for music videos. Um, but honestly, like it because it was never really marketed. The marketing was always the issue with anime because no
I agree.
studios in the West ever saw, at least at that time, any real uh I guess profit is the word for it. It never really
That's
gained
legit.
traction until it
Yeah.
never really gained traction
Mhm.
until the 2010s, like you said. People never really discovered it until the people who grew up with it at the time or the younger siblings really like put it into the internet, put it into the void there for the internet void to really track and build a cult following.
Yeah, I
And
think that was a
honestly,
huge
Oh
part.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, do you think that Akira would have landed the same way if it had been adapted or Americanized? Because a part of me says yes, a part of me says maybe not, or it could have actually gotten worse reception because of how adult it was and how animated it was. You know,
Yeah. If the Dragon Ball Z a live action movie would be of any evidence of of them trying to
I was
adapt it
literally
for
hoping
Western
that would never ever be
audiences,
brought up.
well,
I
Yeah.
appreciate you
Yeah.
being so real with it, though.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I appreciate about Akira. I think I only recently watched it in my like late 20s. Oh my god, I'm in my late 20s.
I don't want to say
Was
that,
that
You're,
was that
you're
it's
still a
so
youngin.
it like even like after all these years, like it not only like because I'm an artist in like my personal life.
Mm.
I see like all these shots of like all these individual windows being painted and like all this raw like it that's the best word that I could use to describe Akira is raw.
Mhm.
And it's very much was needed, especially I think it came out in '84, I
88.
believe, like, '88. Yeah, so
Mhm.
this was when Disney, at least for American audiences, was kind of coming off the heels of, I think, The Black Cauldron and several box office flops, if Disney ever had any. And so, like, this was before their renaissance with The Little Mermaid and etc. And, like, that. What Studio Dreams, I think the name of the
Yes.
production company.
Yes, I
Yeah,
believe so.
they were able to find like the perfect spot to kind of land themselves with Western audiences, and I think
Mhm.
that it was just like perfect timing, at least for Akira. It,
Yeah.
Elle, if are there any other experiences that you've had with anime as like first generation American?
That was sort
Or
of talking about me. Yeah, I mean, like people won't consider Pokemon anime, but besides Trigun, Pokemon was probably a huge influence on my life. Enough so that I bugged my parents to get me the game, even though they were vastly against it with their Christian values, um,
Yeah,
evolution,
actually,
and all that fun stuff.
I think
Uh,
Pokemon. I think Pokemon was a huge thing that,
Oh,
that really
absolutely.
brought the culture of anime culture into the mainstream.
yeah,
Yeah.
dubbed it
Besides
American anime,
Dragon Ball. Yeah.
but even though it
Yeah.
was like, it still had its roots, and obviously with that art style and the acting and the dialogue, the delivery, um, Pokemon, Japanese always shortening, even for them, shortening in their lingo, pocket monsters. Like
Mm-hmm.
it became very big. It was very likable, especially with the kids. Because it's like, oh, these little pets you get to carry around in these little homes that they have in these balls. And you
Yeah.
get to battle them. Like that's probably the
Yeah.
biggest, coolest thing you could feel as a kid. Was battle a Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
Became such a huge cultural wave in America. And I was a part of it. I got caught up in that wave for sure. But I kept it to my roots because of my family. My and especially for my brother and my sisters and my cousin. My cousin was huge with it because he's the one that was very much into Trigun. And so, if it wasn't for how grounded he was in anime and helping me see how grounded he wanted me to be, I don't think I would have been as deeply involved as I am today.
Wait, real
Deeply
quick,
invested.
Luke, real quick.
Yes,
Which I'm like trying to figure out which wait, because our other cousins do watch anime, but which cousin are you talking about?
Grace's brother. NEPA.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, yeah. Oh, because I'm like, because Lori would be the only one who
Yeah.
has like that extensive knowledge of anime. Who else? I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
Yeah,
gotcha,
but basically that's why
gotcha.
I just said our family for sure. Aside from that, from like real actual anime like influence I got, besides like Trigun and the pseudo Pokemon stuff, was probably the differences that I picked up between how Voltron was introduced to the States versus like Robotech. Because like when you talk about those two, a lot of, especially if anyone looks any deeper into it, between those two, it's very much like narrative meets iconography. Like
Mm-hmm.
Voltron it took iconography over narrative, like very Power Rangers. That's why I got hooked so well, because it was very Power Rangers, color coded teams, combination mechanics, very toy driven design. And it got heavily edited for Western standards. There's a lot of reduced death, simplified moralities. Um, so there's less psychological weight, more episodic heroism. So it was very Western. Robotech ended up being like a fusion project, so to speak. There's multiple unrelated animes kind of stitched together for a US broadcasting. So it kind of created this new narrative for like a multi-generation war story, romantic tragedy, long form continuity, which is really rare in 80s Western cartoons. Like most, even before the 80s, like most cartoons are very much like each episode. It's like almost anthological. Like you get one episode and then something totally different narratively is happening in the next. Very Tom and Jerry. Um, so what was gained from Robotech was being able to have a coherent saga, especially more that kids could follow. And this is why Pokemon kind of boomed too, because even though it was a little more anthological, it still followed a linear path. Ash
Okay.
becoming a Pokemon trainer, Ash then becoming beating the Elite Eight, or the Elite Four. I mean, sorry, the Elite 4.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot the linear continuity became very much the norm ever since anime was introduced to the West.
Okay.
Um,
Nice.
so I will say what we did lose in the West in that time was a lot of original cultural context, because a lot of the more studios that were willing to bet on this stuff didn't want people to be confused about the culture. They
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
think that they will look at things and be like, "Oh, we don't understand. That doesn't happen here in the States."
Yeah.
They eliminated a lot of legal cultural context, and of course, a lot of authorial intent obviously follows that, because the authorial intent usually means they usually have mask a lot of culture context behind their work. So, yeah.
Pretty good analysis, dude.
Yeah.
That's great.
Right?
Yeah, we're gonna come back soon with more from Luke and more about anime and trying to analyze everything like that. And
Mm-hmm.
talk to you in a bit.
Welcome back to NEPA Nerds. I always love that intro. That's so
Oh, yeah.
nice.
Yeah, it's
And
great.
so we're back, and we still have with us our guest and resident anime expert, Luke, Elle's brother. So,
Yeah.
it's like a secret anime twist. Like, oh,
Mhm.
yeah, it was his brother the whole time.
Then a cliffhanger for another week.
Yep, exactly.
Right?
That's awesome.
So, so we kind of touched like a little bit on your brother's history, and you mentioned that you wanted to discuss kind of your own.
Yeah,
history
just
out
just
a
real
little bit.
quick. I mean, yes, you did mention earlier about in the Philippines, anime was just normal. It was just a thing. Japan was right there, and so a lot of their broadcasts were shared. Not exactly sure how the television broadcasting worked there, but I do remember as a kid seeing a lot of that stuff. And then it wasn't until I moved to America, where one of the first things I'll never forget watching, it was very impressionable. We talked about it in the previous blog, was Voltron. Voltron was to me, I was so amazed by it. And it was something that I looked forward to all the time. I really didn't get what was going on because I was only 6, 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it was something that I wasn't really. I mean, the visuals. That's what got me. The visuals got me. The music got me. And to this day, it's actually in my my little YouTube list of music, or my '80s music folder. and the other one was Robotech. Now Robotech, as we once again talked about in the previous block, that to me was once again as a little kid, I didn't exactly understand what was going on. It wasn't until I was in college when I watched it again when I realized, wow, this story is actually a little on the it's mature.
Yeah.
Even as in Robotech, and you did say did mention Luke about how American companies had to really change up the storyline a little bit, right? And I didn't even realize that back then. I thought it was just a given to me that that was the story that I knew as a kid too. But nope, apparently it's just more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like yes, for now, what really got me into anime as an art form, as we already previously talked about, was Akira. Now Akira, it was actually my older sister, our older sister Liv, who introduced me to Akira because she was part of an anime club in high school,
That's
and
actually news to me. That's good to know. Go on.
okay. Yep. And so in high school, in Ward Melville High School, they apparently it was their first ever anime club, and my sister used to watch show all the time. And of course, this was back in the early '90s. Let's just say the advisors to the clubs back then weren't as, or at least that club particularly, didn't really know what was being played in those clubs after school. So, so back then they would watch, like maybe 30 minutes at a time of Akira,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that was nuts, and yeah, the uncensored version. So when I
yeah.
yes, and when I saw it as an impressionable 12-year-old kid, I was like, "Whoa, this is nuts! Like I can't believe how violent this is. This is crazy. I can't believe how and also how deep it is because to this day, I mean, yes, I've watched so many analysis videos of Akira that like I sort of understand it now, and I did read a little bit of the manga, but yes, back then, totally confused. The credit scene, I'm like, what just happened? I'm like, what is this? What is going on here? Yes. So, yeah, that was, I mean, among other shows, like because that was great. That was a great year because that's when Liv would bring in pretty much a new show a week because of her club. And so
Yeah.
we would rent a new show, or we'd watch a new show each week. And it's like, okay, that's really when I got into it. And yeah, so you didn't realize that Liv was the one
No,
who? Oh, really?
I think it was. I think I was just a tad young enough to not get
Yeah,
it. That it was from her.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
got my first influences because of you. And you
Yep.
were talking about it. You would mention it. You would have it in your everyday art things, and I was like, "This is cool." In my little kid brain, and I wanted forever to keep going with that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. One question that kind of popped in my head as Elle was explaining was that y'all were able to kind of get a hold of these films and TV shows, anime back in I think the mid to late '90s. You said Elle,
Early.
early
It was
'90s.
actually 1991 when I first saw Akira.
Yeah. So I grew up at least with Blockbuster and
Yeah.
Redbox and all that, and being able to like go to the physical store and like pick up the DVDs and towards the older section VHS. Can you kind of relate? Is that kind of a similar experience that y'all had when it came to obtaining the physical media of these properties?
For me, it was a number of things. Yes, the rental places like Hollywood Video, Blockbuster, Redbox, things like
Oh,
that. Yes, but there are other more niche. I call them niche because at the time I didn't really think of them, and I didn't think of them as widely as everyone else thought of them. But like going to places like Hot Topic and Spencer's, like
yes.
those all
Oh yeah.
carried like anime as well because they wanted to be the cool niche like hipster people before hipsters were hipsters, and they carried the things like that because it was obscure to Western media at the time
Yeah.
still.
It's not
So
a phase, Mom.
yeah, exactly. And so I got some of my stuff from there, and a lot of it also was word of mouth. There, being one of the, at least from my experience, because I'm okay, not significantly. I don't want to offend my brother. I am much younger than the rest of my
Oh,
siblings, um,
Yeah.
and I'm the youngest of four,
no
and
offense taken.
and so in my time in high school, I don't know how it was for them, but like I was literally the only Asian kid in high school, in my high school. Um,
Which is interesting
and
because
so
okay.
that being said, and since I didn't have my brother and sisters in high school, it was a very different experience for me. Um, and so I kind of felt like an outcast of sorts times, and so like I kind of kept to myself, and I was cool with it. I never really look at that time as like a dark period or anything like that. It was
Mm.
me keeping to myself, and when I did find people that were interested in things I was interested in, we hit it off. I was friends. I immediately became friends with one of my closest friends from high school, and I still talk to this day because of anime.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
He's the first. He was the. It was a. He was the one that gave me my first view of. Um, oh my gosh, what movie? All the Studio Ghiblis. I know we did it in our household, hell,
Yes.
Ah,
but like
yes.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
he and his sister were the biggest Ghibli fans I have ever seen in my
Yeah.
life, even above me and my family.
Yeah.
Um, and they made me appreciate what that medium is in an artistic way more so than I did in the past. I appreciated it as a kid, but growing up and the formative years of high school really made me open up and experience the actual art behind anime, and I really loved the Ghibli movies for that reason.
Mhm.
Um, and they all became instant favorites for me.
Yeah.
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 It's I lightly touched upon it before, but like especially like in my adult years, like I'm still blown away by like the quality of Ghibli films and
Oh yeah.
even like older anime like Voltron or Dragon Ball because previously, like I have a little bit of knowledge in how animation works. At least in that period of time, was that they would have a physical background painting layered with a cell, and then they would take a picture of it, pull that cell away, put on a new one, and then take
Hmm.
another picture.
Old
And
school.
that's that is old school. Now
Yep.
it's all like digital stuff now, so like it's not as impressive. They got like fancy effects now and all that, but it's still like I was watching My Neighbor Totoro the other day,
Classic.
and it's
Love
so
it.
impressive. Just all this, and that they were able like it takes a lot of planning too, and direction from them, and so it's still like a visual marvel. Some of these films.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
actually, speaking of Ghibli, I'm really impressed with and happy with now that um the West has started to really embrace those older films and Ghibli's the Studio Ghibli in itself, because at least here in my side of the country, or we're actually technically on the same side, but they had re-released a lot of the Ghibli films into theaters. Um,
Yes.
and it was really awesome to see they released both the sub and dub forms, and you can watch them in either. And they had like different blocks for releasing all the different films, and it was really cool. And a lot of those films, I went to essentially almost all of them except for maybe one. And all
Really.
of them were pretty filled with the last I remember. There was not a lot of empty seats, maybe some empty rows, but like it just was really cool to see a lot of people being more interested in anime and seeing
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
on top, because I know for a fact a lot of those people who are hardcore fans were bringing their friends and family, because I
Mm-hmm.
kept hearing chatter, which is fine for me. I kept hearing chatter in the rows asking about certain things, about what's going on here, what's going on, who is that, like,
Okay, got it.
and like it
All
was
right.
really cool. Like okay, these are actually new people like watching this, you know.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see. I think we need more of that, and I think studios are starting to see the benefit, because I think they didn't necessarily sell out any of their showings, but a lot of the theaters made a lot of money because of those. So
Yeah.
it was nice. It was really nice to see.
Yeah.
Oh.
So.
No, that's great.
Oh yeah, and it not only with older films, but also like newer films. At least that are coming out of Japan. Most recent ones that at least I could remember, I experienced going to AMC and seeing My Hero Academia 2 Heroes
Mhm.
in theater, and I saw like all these
Oh, I didn't realize that.
people
Okay.
coming together. Oh yeah, like I think that was the second movie, if not
Oh,
the
really?
first
Okay.
one. And also Infinity Castle was a like almost national phenomenon. Chainsaw Man.
Oh yeah, those are the
I
last
think
two.
there
Yeah.
was a. I think it was like supposed to cover like a whole arc, like within
Yes.
2 hours or something.
Yes.
And it's so like, I keep saying it because it's true. It's a very good time to be an anime fan.
Hmm. Yeah, their production value and quality behind when they make movies is massive. Chainsaw Man, I'm gonna harp on for just a couple of seconds here that it is an entire arc in one movie, and I think because of how short the arc is in the manga, I think it was probably the best move for that studio to make. Because
okay.
it wouldn't have stretched into a normal season length. I think making it a movie, a very impactful, beautifully animated, high quality movie was probably the best way to go. And the same thing with
Okay.
Infinity Castle. Granted, I wish they would have released them a little sooner. Infinity Castle was stretched into 3 movies.
What?
Yes, Infinity
Oh
Castle.
my God.
The first part of Infinity Castle was almost 3 hours long, but there's still 2 more parts after it. And it is, if you've
Okay.
never seen Demon Slayer, it is probably one of the bangers of within the last 10 years. Same with My Hero Academia, um, Jujutsu Kaisen, Attack on Titan, Spy X Family. Huge. It's one of the big names in anime history is Demon Slayer for sure. Um,
You mentioned that the first film is like 3 some hours. Do
it's
we
almost
anticipate?
almost 3 hours long.
Oh my God. It's
Wait,
like
what's the
Lord of
title
the
of this
Rings
again?
all over again.
Yeah,
What's
right.
the title of this?
Demon
What?
Slayer Infinity Castle arc.
Oh, yep,
Yes.
yep. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Which-
It is one of the biggest examples too. Side note of continuity in anime and for animation in general, like they keep up with is Demon Slayer goes from the start of someone's adventure, and now we're just experiencing as time goes. Like it's really cool to see it both in the manga and the anime. You'll see it's just growth from day one to day X for the end because it is technically finished. The manga is done. Infinity
Oh.
Castle is the last arc for Demon Slayer, and you can tell if you listen to the pulse of the fans that it's something that they've loved for like the past decade.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Jeez, when did
Yeah,
that come out? Like
I have yet to see
2016?
this.
Yeah, something like
2017?
2016-ish.
Oh, really?
Man,
I
I'm
keep hearing
old.
about it. I just never got around to like watching.
It's probably one of the best. It's I wouldn't say it's a family friendly one, but it's definitely more of the mature like teen one, like rated ones. It's
Yeah.
so they really touch on more of the values there than they do on the action, which is why it became so popular. Um, the values that each of the characters hold within themselves, they're essentially just tropes. So it's what anime
Yeah.
is. They focus tropes just like in most fantasy, but Japan likes to animate and write stories in all forms and all genres into their characters. So it's nice to see. It's very easily relatable. It's why people love anime. It's relatable without trying to be.
Yes.
There you go.
It's also very diverse too, because even just within one studio, one major one that I can think of is Studio Trigger, where they have a not so family adventure in Kill a Kill.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
They have an opposite side of the spectrum with BNA and Little Witch Academia, which both I hold very closely to my heart. It's just because like Little Witch Academia is like almost like Japanese take on Hogwarts. Without
really?
like
That's
all the
funny.
houses and all that, and it's like like it just the difference in approaches like within the same studio. It's still like that's a testament to the strength of this medium. Is like you can tell whatever story you can, and people will still like if it's a good story, they'll come for it.
Yeah, that's speaking of which, you wanted to say Harry Potter in anime form, but without the houses. Uh, which one were you talking about again?
Little Witch Academia.
That is true. And
Yes.
I want to touch on another one. This is, by the way, this is a very quick recommendation from me. Besides Free Rent, if you like it, but if you are into Harry Potter and you are into that vibe, Mashal Magic and Muscles.
What's it called?
Mashal Magic and Muscles. Boy, I think
It-
I think you would be really into this. It's a comedy action anime where a magically powerless guy is in a wizard school, solves every problem by being violently jacked instead of just casting spells.
Oh,
Wait,
okay.
is this the show that got popular with its opening, Bing Blang Boom?
Yeah, that's yeah.
That's
Just
what
like
I
with
thought it
just
was.
like with Dandadan's opener, like the Creepy Nuts
Okay.
did that one too.
Oh.
Yeah, Creepy Nuts is I know we're sidebarring a bunch here, but Creepy Nuts is
Yeah.
a wonderful artist, great musicians. really high vibe for this kind of modern audience, but their music is so catchy.
Yeah.
Um,
That's another conversation we'll have to have another day too. It's just
Yeah,
the music
definitely.
of anime itself too, because like that is just a whole
I have a full yap. I have a
thing.
full yap session for that. I already
Oh,
had
wow.
notes
Yeah.
on that already because I didn't know
Yeah.
what we were talking about, so I already
Yeah.
had stuff written out. So.
Oh yeah, another reason to have you back for our next anime day. Oh, I'm
Yes.
excited for
Thank you.
that. Yeah.
Yes.
So-
Looking, yeah. Look, well, once again, we are definitely going to be having more conversations.
Absolutely.
Much like our Star Wars and hopefully Star Trek sometime down the road, where we're
Mm-hmm.
just going to bring these franchises over and
right.
over again in the
Uh-huh.
future.
No, you're good.
And so, like, when it comes to anime, yeah, I'm definitely bringing in my brother again.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and yeah, it's yeah. I just want to say, like, I love the fact that you are very knowledgeable with all this, and that you've
Absolutely.
been, you have an awesome analysis on a lot of this stuff. So, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
It was a pleasure to
Thanks.
have you.
Yeah, no, it was
yeah.
a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So, like, hopefully one of these days, sometime soon, maybe a month or two, or however soon, we'll be talking about anime again. So,
Yeah. Maybe we
Yeah,
can
for
make
sure.
this like a monthly thing. If we record weekly, then we could probably have it every other 4 episodes or so.
yeah,
That
well,
would be nice.
yeah. So, like, we can say goodbye for now, and then we'll talk a little bit more a little later. But once again, thank you very much, Luke. And seriously, if anybody here knows somebody also who's an expert on anime, I'm getting over that one.
I'm never going to get over that.
It's like a running gag.
Luke, has he always pronounced it like that? Anime?
Kinda. It's also the Japanese way of saying anime. It's not anime. It's anime.
Anime?
Yeah.
Yeah. And fun fact, the Korean way to say it's anime. It's it's their way of saying animation for themselves as well. But that's
Really?
also another
Anime?
Korean anime or
Anime?
ane is another thing that we can touch base on some other time because that's a whole other
Okay.
thing.
Oh, yeah.
Really? Wow. Okay, yeah, because I did not realize that.
Yes.
So.
So, Luke, it was a pleasure to have you on, and we're so excited to have you back.
Pleasure to be here. I appreciate it. Call me anytime. I appreciate it very much.
Awesome.
Of
Thank you very
course.
much, Luke. And we'll be back. Hello and welcome back.
Welcome back.
It's been a
So-
great episode with talking about anime, and it's like
Absolutely.
it's great to know that my younger brother.
Yeah.
I did not realize how much anime he knew until
Yeah.
only recently, and I didn't realize how well he can talk about it until this past Christmas when
Oh,
when
yeah.
I saw him. I'm like, you know what, Luke? I think you can
Oh, yeah.
possibly come in and be part of our podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he provided a lot of insight when it came to some of the shows too, and perspectives that I didn't consider myself. So it was very nice to have I guess, not a third perspective, because that typically is our third perspective, but an outside look on all these shows, and I really appreciated him coming on.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and speaking of Zach, I was reminded during the break that he was not with us, but you could catch him again on Allison Price's On the Red Carpet. You could watch that on 2022 Now's app if you're not already watching it on here. So he talked like nerdy stuff, and
I'm looking forward to that actually.
yeah, I recently found out about it, and I was like, I need to like just have that on my car ride home or something.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Because Allison, she's sweet, and I love you. So
I think I was there once.
yeah, she used to be our evening side producer, and now she's day side. So
Yeah, that's
good
right.
for her.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And question for you. I heard you're going to Universal Studios soon.
Yes, I am. We're
So-
going to be flying down to Florida for about Friday. Hopefully, no Jack Frost tearing off my nose with recent weather events. And we're going to be down there through Monday, and it should be back on time for our next week. NEPA nurse to be able to spill the tea as to, or spill the butterbeer more so, because
Nice.
I was able to go through a little bit of our itinerary. There's a lot of Harry Potter stuff going on, Jaws. They recently celebrated their 50th anniversary.
Oh, okay.
There's also How to Train Your Dragon down there too. I'm gonna be bringing back some souvenirs to show off with y'all.
More for our table.
Yeah, and they're recently, more nerdy stuff. And recently they just opened up their Epic Universe, so I'm going to
looking
be
forward to that.
indulging into that.
Yeah.
And
I can't wait to go back there, like with the Epic Universe.
Yeah,
I'm
when
so
are you
looking
when are you going?
I'm hoping to go within the year, maybe.
Oh yeah, I'll
see. We'll see
I'll
what
leave you
happens.
some tips and tricks. So.
Yes, please. That'll be great.
And hopefully the weather will be that I will be able to wear my capris, because I'm hoping to escape the winter cold and all that. So but I'm super excited.
Better take a lot of video.
Yes.
Because I want a package from you.
Yes.
Yes.
Or at least a little slideshow.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah. So, well, thank you so much for watching our show today, and we hope to see you next time. Catch us again on the 2822 Now app if you're not already watching on there. And you could also catch my byline on 2822news.com, and we will see you around.